Hello, and thank you for coming to Magic Meets Masculinity. My name is Richard. So, today's topic is going to be about one of what I think is the most important out of everything in the occult, and that is the true will. So, there is an idea of the true will that it is some sort of force that you can manifest out of yourself in order to inflict what you want into the world, and that is the true will. And largely this comes from people reading the saying, "Do what thou wilt" by Aleister Crowley, without even like digging into the rest of the meaning of it. Do what thou will shall be the whole of the law, love under will. They ignore all of that and they just see that because it feeds their ego. Well, that's not what that is. So I guess the true will could be described as destiny, God's plan, any number of things. But it's definitely not you going into the universe to inflict your will onto it. Now, with that being said, you do have free will. You can either choose to follow and try to unravel what your true will is throughout your lifetime, or you can elect to ignore it and, to be honest, you'll probably end up miserable. So it's tough to kind of swallow that pill sometimes because people want to feel like they're in control of your lives. You're not. I mean, you're in control of some of the decisions on how you react to it, but ultimately you're not in control of what is your life. Things will happen to you. And it's in that moment that you decide that decision is what you have control over. It's like your car breaks down and you have a decision to either flip out and kick the crap out of your car, or you can take a deep breath, call the tow truck, take the time just to kind of reflect on things. And that's just a silly example of that. But it's still true. Now, the true will is a tricky thing to try to figure out, especially with men nowadays, just because you're fed so many different things of what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to have this and do that, and you're supposed to impress these people. Well, that might not necessarily be the case, and I bet, and the easiest way to try to figure out what route to go down, what are you good at? What comes natural? What is something that interests you? What are your talents? What comes natural? Where do you excel? What's your environment? That's going to be the best way to pinpoint that, right? And when you start going through and trying to uncover what this path is, things will start, it's weird. Things will start to speed up and things will start to get out of your way and the roads will open and things will flow a lot easier. Now, it won't flow easy all the time. That's for sure. Sometimes you might get a little off course and things might get a little rocky, so it pushes you back in the right direction. Or you might be being tested. Okay, can you take this? Can you take this? But every test that's given to you, every weight that's thrown on your shoulders, is making sure that you're strong enough for what's to come after. Right? God doesn't give you a cross that you can't bear, for lack of a better term, I guess. But once you do start acknowledging this and going down this path, there really is no coming back. Because now you're aware of it. And once you're aware of it, then you will have like a nagging idea in the back of your head, just kind of thinking, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing this. And you'll end up being sad. It was like that for a lot of my 20s, where I knew that there was other things that I was supposed to be doing, but I stayed stuck in the partying lifestyle. And what was the result of that? It wasn't me having fun. It was a result of me going to bed at like after a 3 day bender being sad because I knew I was wasting time and not doing what I was meant to do. What am I good at? I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at helping people. I am good at bringing people together. Those are always my talents. Now I work with the homeless and I want to go from there. I obviously want to do this channel and try to help men in that way. And there's a lot of techniques in magic that will help you. And these techniques are what's considered higher magic. So as you go through the Golden Dawn system, when you go through each one of the magical grades, it's going to be teaching you on how to unlock portions of your true will, which is I highly, highly suggest getting Regardie's Golden Dawn book and starting from there. It's going to be a lot for it, so I would definitely take your time, but it will be very helpful to uncovering this path. I myself, I can look at the course of my life and I can sit there and point to one thing and plot exactly how everything went. And believe it or not, everything has gone exactly the way it was supposed to. Even the bad times, even when I was having some very rough times, eventually it got better. And those things I learned during those rough times made me appreciate the better times and made me stronger to get through the next tough times. So it's not easy. Lord, it's not easy. But it's easier because you know there's a purpose behind it. You know that you're doing what you need to do. And honestly, a man is happiest when he's doing something he's known he's made for, right? So that's the end goal right there, is uncovering your true will. Now there's a lot of different techniques and stuff out there, like your holy guardian angel and doing magic in order to unlock that, which the holy guardian angel, I guess, is the best explanation of the way I see it, it's like a version of your higher self, right? So you have your higher self, like that's your subconscious that comes out, and you're fully communing with that higher self, right? And that's incredibly tough. There are so many rituals and things to go through that are very intense because the goal of that isn't something like, oh, like I'm gonna do this ritual to make this girl fall in love with me. I'm gonna do this to get some extra money. This guy cut me off in traffic. I want to get revenge on him. All sorts of different. I lost my keys. I'm gonna do a spell to find my keys. Something as mundane as that. Higher magic doesn't deal with that, so it becomes a lot more intensive of a practice once you start going down those roads. The LBRP, as I mentioned in the first video, is the very beginning on how to do that. So I would definitely highly suggest looking more into the true will, and I will be going into deeper details in the future. But this is something I wanted to put out just so that there is a little bit more direction going each way. I know for a fact that it's helped me once I was in my darkest spot, understanding what this is. And then it helps me when I have rough spots now because I know that there is a purpose for me. The way I look at it is your body. You have your body, right? All the way down to the atom, up to your skin, all your cells, your brain, everything, right? Everything in that has its function, right? But if we were to scale things up on a universal level, everything still has its function on making everything work. And each one of our individual true wills plays a part in that bigger thing to make everything work. That's how I view it. Magic is a tool for us to accomplish that. So that's the best way to look at it. You're in a wider system, and what your purpose is supposed to be doing is fulfilling the need that is in that system. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up. So the next card I will be covering is the Emperor card, which is associated with the sign Aries. If you look at the card itself, you'll see two rams on it. When you draw this card, you'll see things that are like domination, discipline, and other things of that nature. So I thank you all for coming and watching this video. This is still a rather new channel. So if you think anybody would be interested in what I have to say, I would definitely, please share it with your friends. Anybody that might be interested in even having a conversation about these kind of things. I would love to meet more people, especially men who are interested in going down this kind of path. Just because I feel like it's been a beneficial part of my life, I think it could be a beneficial part in their life. So if you want, if you stumble across this, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thanks, and be well.